How's it going, Gumi Gang? Welcome back to the channel, and I'm so excited to tell you Warzone 4.0 is essentially here, and Black Ops 6 has been integrated with Warzone, so we got a new map, Area 99, we got Omni Movement, and we got all the Black Ops 6 guns, plus a whole bunch of like refactoring and switches up to the Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 guns. There's a lot to talk about, but of course today's video is focused on the shotguns, and more particular, sort of an overview of the craziness that just happened. Now, if you want to hop to a certain part of the video, I will leave timestamps down below in the description if you want to hop to a certain part of the video, because I don't know how long this is going to be. Hopefully it won't be too long, but just so you guys know, check the timestamps if you want to hop to a certain part. The first thing we'll go over is the massive news we got in the patch notes before the actual update dropped. So there's a bunch of different stuff, some weapon balancing across the board, of course Black Ops 6 weapons, but there's also some stuff about snipers and, for our sake, pump action shotguns. So there's a little spot here in the introduction that says all bolt action snipers and pump action shotguns while aiming down sights from Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 6 will have a one-shot headshot potential within their respective max damage ranges. Additionally, in order to incentivize intentional aim, all shotguns will fire 5 pellets while aimed on sights versus 4 when fired from the hip. So there's a few things to take away from this. The first thing I want to address is obviously the one-shot headshot. I can confirm all the pump actions, including the Lockwood 300 double barrel, actually all have a one-shot range limited to their max damage ranges, which aren't very far, like usually 1 meter or so, as long as you are aiming down sights. This is huge. They're finally incentivizing you to be accurate. Of course, it's only 1 meter. This is likely never going to happen unless you just kind of get lucky, but it is cool to see that they're moving in that direction. But the next point that really gets me excited, and that I'm really excited to share with you guys, is the fact about the damage when you're aiming down sights versus hip firing. Now, I want to be clear because the patch notes are not really stating it correctly. All shotguns, most of them at least, will shoot 8 pellets. This is still the case. The number of pellets fired doesn't change versus hip fire versus aim down sights. It's still going to be 8. But what happens is when you hip fire, your damage is capped at 4 pellets, but when you aim down sights, it bumps up to 5. This is insane. If you've been watching my content, you know this is something I've actually recommended they do before, especially for like the double barrel, but they're doing it across the board. And this applies to all shotguns, the semi-autos, the Haymaker. The Riveter doesn't really work because it only has 4 pellets. It doesn't have more than 4, so you can't get 5. But the pump actions, the double barrels, all have this mechanic across the board. And so you are incentivized to aim down sights finally. This is so cool. I'm just geeking out about this because I've been such a proponent of this idea for so long, to incentivize people to actually aim with their shotgun, and it's so cool to see that this is actually being implemented in a way that I actually like. Now, what this does mean is that a lot of guns will have to be balanced accordingly, because if they're just as is right now, like a lot of guns are just kept as is in the shotgun category, they're going to be pretty strong when you aim down sights. That's why you saw in the patch notes there were nerfs to the Lockwood 680, the Reclaimer 18, and the Haymaker. This was to prepare the game for basically this new damage mechanic for shotguns. Honestly, this news in and of itself is enough to make a video about. Again, I'm geeking out about it. I'm dorking out about it. It's such a cool thing to me, and I'm so excited that they're bringing this into the game. To give you an example of what it looks like with a shotgun like the Haymaker, which did receive a nerf, I will flash up on screen the new damage profile for the base Haymaker. As you can see, I now have 2 damages, one that's 92, one that's 115 up close. That's because when you aim, of course, it caps at 5 pellets rather than just 4 pellets worth of damage. So again, you're incentivized to aim. This will basically change it to where you basically take 1 less shot to kill at each range. Now, of course, the time to kills here aren't the best for a shotgun, but still, this is a huge step in the right direction. This is just an example to show you guys. And again, this is the Haymaker currently, so if you want to use the Haymaker, be aware these are the stats for it. And from what I can tell, this change also applies to Dragon's Breath shotguns, so they'll do 5 pellets when aimed on sights versus 4 when hip firing. And another exciting thing I have to tell you guys is that pump actions in Warzone right now are probably the best that they'll ever be. The pump actions right now are insanely good. And if you're wondering why, it's because of this new mechanic and also a few other things I'll talk about soon. But essentially, you have some ridiculous 2-shot ranges with pretty much all the pump actions. We're talking like Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2's version of Warzone, where they could 2-shot really far. We're talking that. So for example, the Marine SP, you can 2-shot if you're aiming down sights out to about the 14-meter mark. That is 4 meters above where the Reclaimer 18 was in its prime in Warzone 3. For the guns like the Lockwood, for guns like the Bryson 890 and the Bryson 800, they can 2-shot out to like 13 meters and 12 meters respectively. It's insane. It feels so good. But there is a small caveat that I need to mention that I almost feel like is unintentional with this buff. The thing I'm running into that's really strange is it seems like a lot of the pump actions, you don't have to aim to get a good 2-shot range. For example, the Reclaimer, you can hip fire it at like 8-10 meters, and you can actually just get a 2-shot from hip firing. That was never the case in Warzone 3. You had to be aiming down sights past like 3 meters, but that's been lifted so you can hip fire any distance really and get the 2-shot. But what's really crazy is that if you aim down sights with the Reclaimer and you put on a barrel, you can actually get a 2-shot out to 20 meters. We're talking 10, 12 meters max was something we used to have. 20 meters is almost double that. That is ridiculously far. I honestly have no idea if this is intentional to be this strong, but right now pump actions are that good. I mean, if you can aim and hit your shot, you're gonna get so many crazy 2-shots. Now again, the big problem I have so far is that hip firing still gives you a really crazy 2-shot, like 10 meters, which I don't think you should be hip firing at 10 meters with these things and getting a 2-shot. You need to be aiming, in my opinion. And it also seems like the damage might be bugged because the damage is like incrementally going down like a point per pellet every so often. Usually with a shotgun, it's like out to 3 meters, you do 50 damage per pellet. Then it drops to 30 damage per pellet out until like 8 meters, something like that. But it's going down like from 50 damage to 49 to 48. It seems like it might be bugged. I don't quite know. I just wanted to bring it to any attention of devs that might be watching this. It seems like something might be off, but right now pump actions are extremely strong. If that's your thing like it is for me, go and have fun and enjoy it right now because it's not going to get much better than this. It's probably going to get nerfed, but man, it is so good right now. You just have to try them. And I'm talking like any pump action, the Speed Demon 890 build, the short barrel on the Bryson 800. Any pump action right now is going to be great with its 2-shot potential. And honestly, the Marine SP is good, but it's limited by its sprint to fire speed. So in my opinion, the Reclaimer 18 is probably still the best pump action in the game thus far. And if you want a good class for hyper mobility and tac stance, which does exist, by the way, on Modern Warfare 2 guns and Modern Warfare 3 guns, I forgot to mention that tac stance is back, just not on Black Ops 6 guns, unless you use the tactical laser. But this is an amazing pump action class. You guys gotta try. And oh my God, it's so good. It really is so good. Now for my overall thoughts, because this was just sort of a general overview, I want to talk about the changes in general. I think these are tremendously good changes. Like the whole 4 pellets versus 5 pellets while aiming down sights and the damage cap. I'm so excited about that. Like, it's such a good change. And to me, this is a massive step in the right direction that I've wanted to see for so long. And I'm so glad we finally have it. This is amazing. And any devs that might be watching, thank you so much for doing this because I've wanted this implemented for so long. So this is really, really cool. And the fact that it applies to also semi-autos and full autos is really good. There are 2 things though that I think would be good to keep an eye on. One of them is the 2-shot range for some of these, specifically like the Reclaimer, is very far. Like if you can get a 20-meter 2-shot, that's really damn far. Now granted, it's probably not going to happen a lot because it might be a little consistent due to the spread or maybe you're not hitting your shot right, but the fact that it's possible is pretty strong. So it's something to keep an eye on. I'm not going to say it's just broken out right yet. I think we need to sit on it, let it digest some, and kind of then see how it feels afterwards, but I do think it's pretty strong initially. It might need some tweaking. Also, the other thing to keep an eye on is the hip fire damage. For whatever reason, I think the hip fire damage is stronger than it's supposed to be because I feel like I shouldn't be hip firing at like 10 meters with a Reclaimer or a Lockwood or something and getting a 2-shot that easily. I feel like I need to be aiming. So in my opinion, just keep an eye on those 2 things if any devs are watching. Those are probably my 2 biggest concerns so far with this update. Other than that, I love the new mechanic. I just think those 2 things probably keep an eye on. But this is a massive step in the right direction where all we need to do now is kind of tweak on a gun-to-gun basis. So if this thing's performing too well, we cut it down a little bit. And again, I think the best thing that should happen is a 2-shot should be limited if you're hip firing to its like first drop off, and then to get its third drop off 2-shot, you need to be aiming down sights. I think that's fair. But of course, as always, I want to know down below in the comments, what do you guys think about these changes? Are you as excited as I am about this 4 versus 5 pellet damage change? I love it. What are your concerns about these shotguns? Are they too strong now? Are they not strong enough? Just let me know down below in the comments. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video.